What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I do want to speak about Ferran Torres in two separate parts. And so like always, I'm going to be organizing everything down below. These two separate parts will be clocked in right there in the timeline. So if you do want to skip to a certain part, you can do that. But first things first, I want to explain what parties are interested in Ferran Torres, because now we're starting to see that Ferran Torres is a very demanded player out there in European football. Surprisingly, I know that there's this general understanding that for the Barcelona fans, we don't really want to see Ferran Torres in Barcelona next season, but for sure there are clubs out there right now that are looking at Ferran and they're saying this is a player that has a specific style and can complement our system. We have teams like PSG, there's other clubs in the Premier League, there's a club like Atletico Madrid also interested in Ferran Torres. So I want to talk about that first because, like I've said, it's becoming one of the biggest transfer stories so far in this summer transfer window. And we all thought that PSG was going to be the only club interested in Ferran. We even heard about some news about how PSG have talked with the agents of Ferran Torres that is almost like 80% complete. Ferran Torres would like to move away from FC Barcelona, but now there's other clubs. Atletico Madrid are interested. There is Premier League clubs also interested, and part of the reason why, right, like this came out of nowhere is because it has mainly to do with Hansi Flick. Hansi Flick told Ferran Torres, according to many of these reports, that he does not view Ferran Torres in the squad anymore. He does not believe that Ferran Torres has what it takes to be in a very strong starting 11 at FC Barcelona. And I think that to Ferran Torres, he's like, okay, fine. If you don't view me in that way, if you don't believe that I can bring great value to the squad, then of course I'm going to be moving elsewhere. So that explains the reason why Ferran Torres is pushing for a move to PSG out of all other clubs, because he thinks that at PSG, sportingly, he can provide a lot of results. But Flick has said, and it states here that according to the Ferran's agency, Flick currently prefers other attacking players in his strongest starting 11. Ferran remains as an important squad player and has delivered whenever called upon. However, he is no longer viewed as an undisputed long-term starter. So the reality here is that a lot of things have changed. Flick had to be very honest. And I believe that how Flick views Ferran is the same way we have been viewing Ferran over the past 2 seasons. We're not here trying to like attack Ferran and say that he's such a low-level player that he does not belong at FC Barcelona. We're not saying that. It's just that Barcelona's bar is getting higher. We want to improve. We're looking for a specific profile. We want a killer instinct type of striker. And unfortunately, Ferran Torres does not check those boxes. I mean, like, have you guys seen Julián Álvarez's goal against Switzerland? The way that he shot that ball to the top right corner, that is a pure instinct goal player. This guy smells the goals. This guy has the capability to show up in those big moments, as we discussed before. Julián Álvarez is a player that can pop up when the team really does need him. Julián can do that. And that is why Flick, they want him at Barcelona, because when Barcelona is in those UCL moments and we're trying to strive for the 2-1 or maybe the 1-0 and we're playing against Arsenal or City or Inter Milan or Dortmund or whatever, and it gets difficult, Julián can rise from those situations and score those 1-2 goals that we really do need. So Ferran right now is not prioritizing a contract renewal either. According to the reports, it states here that Ferran's current Barcelona contract expires in 2027, and according to Romano, renewing with Barcelona is not something Ferran is considering right now. His full focus remains on helping Spain at the World Cup, and once the tournament does finish, that is where he'll decide his future. Now, we'll see how it goes. At the time that I'm making this video, I do want to make this very clear because I want you guys to be very well informed. The strongest candidate to sign Ferran, it is PSG. Right? Yes, Atletico Madrid do exist, and they might even add Ferran Torres into the Julián operation, maybe. But PSG are the strongest candidates, and for 3 very separate good reasons. Point number 1, there is the Luis Enrique connection. Luis Enrique has coached Ferran before with the Spanish national team. It wasn't a lot of games, but he knows Ferran Torres very well. And if I'm not mistaken, it just popped up into my mind. Didn't Ferran Torres date the daughter of Luis Enrique or something like that? Or there is that connection there. And Luis Enrique does value Ferran's positional versatility, his passing ability, the movement without the ball, etc., etc. etc., etc. Also, PSG view Ferran Torres as the replacement to potentially replace Gonçalo Ramos, a player that I don't ever see PSG like ever use, and for very good reasons, right? They have Doué, they have Dembélé, they have Cavada, they have very good players. So of course they barely use Gonçalo Ramos, and they're looking to reinforce their backup players, right, in the squad. Ferran Torres could be the ideal candidate. And then lastly, it is the agents, right? The agents of Ferran Torres have been talking with PSG over and over again, hence the reason why PSG are currently the strongest candidates. Now, this is where I do want to kind of like delve deeper, right? Because one of the conversations that I have been wanting to have with you guys is why I think Ferran Torres should not be sold for so cheap. Because everybody assumes that Ferran Torres should be sold for like 10, 15, 20 million euros. I get that. I understand that he also has 1 year left in his contract, hence the reason why people are assuming that we should just sell him for 10, 15, 20 million euros, whatever. But no, I think that Barcelona have to value this player. I already told you guys that I'm not saying that Ferran Torres is a bad player. I just think that we're looking for different options. We're looking for different solutions. And Ferran Torres, based off the stats and the data, Ferran Torres is a 50 million euro player. And that is what I believe Barcelona should sell him for. I want Barcelona to sell him at a good price. I think that Barcelona have to respect themselves and respect Ferran Torres and respect us, and we cannot get lowballed whatsoever by PSG. PSG have the money, they have to pay up, and the stats and the data, it backs up all of this. And that is exactly what I do want to talk to you guys about, is why I believe Ferran Torres should be sold for 50 million euros. And so I hope you guys do enjoy it, and I'll see you guys in the other clip. So here is going to be the way I view this operation, because a 50 million euro sale is historically realistic. Even with Ferran Torres entering the final year of his contract, Barcelona should accept 50 million euros guaranteed if Ferran will not renew. There has been some reports claiming that Barcelona value him at 50 million euros, but PSG might offer Barcelona 40 million euros. But I don't think that is enough. I think that if we look at the numbers that Ferran Torres has brought over the past 2 seasons under Hansi Flick, these are really good numbers. He is one of the most efficient attackers in Europe. In the 2024-2025 season, he made 45 appearances, scoring 19 goals and providing 7 assists, which is a total of 26 goal contributions. In the 2025-2026 season, he played 49 matches, scored 21 goals, and provided 3 assists. That is 24 total goal contributions. So in his first season with Hansi Flick, he basically had a goal contribution every 73 minutes, despite only starting in 19 matches. And in the second season under Flick, his 21 goals was another career high, showing that the first Flick season was not a fluke whatsoever. This is Ferran Torres' real level. When you look at Ferran Torres' league stats under Hansi Flick, according to StatsMuse, this chart is telling us a lot of things. And to summarize it up, you can see that he is averaging 0.76 non-penalty goals per 90, averaging 1 goal contribution per 90 minutes as well, 1 goal every 118 minutes, 1 goal contribution every 90 minutes, has a shot conversion rate of 22.2%, his shooting accuracy is 50.4%, his shots per 90 is 3.43, shots on target per 90 is 1.73, and then we do have opposition box touches per 90, which is 6.18. This is really good because this has placed Ferran in the 99th percentile for non-penalty expected goals and shots on target per 90, and in the 95th percentile for shooting accuracy, and in the 94th percentile for conversion in the 2025-2026 season. When we compare Ferran Torres' numbers to the top elite strikers and we get their respective league numbers from the past 2 seasons, this is basically what it looks like. Ferran Torres sits in 3rd place for non-penalty goals per 90, right below Lewandowski with 0.77 and right below Harry Kane with 0.81, and higher than Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe. It's insane. Now keep in mind, this does not mean that Ferran Torres is a better overall striker, because Kane and Mbappe do create more, they have sustained bigger workloads as well, and they do influence more phases through the pitch. It's just that Ferran has produced elite scoring efficiency with fewer starts, and that's really good. And part of the reason why Ferran has become so efficient under Hansi Flick is because of his movement, which creates valuable shots. His output also contains no penalty inflation whatsoever, so this guy does not need penalties to get the goals that he wants. And he also produces without needing any rhythm, because sometimes he starts, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he comes in later in the game, sometimes he just plays 30 minutes or 40 minutes. You can even place him as a left winger, right winger, or as a striker. He does not need consistency on where to play or how many minutes he does get. He's going to get the goals, and this makes him very valuable to PSG. PSG because Luis Enrique with PSG likes to have his players rotate positions, and he wants the attackers who can press, run, and interchange. And when he does score his goals, they're in really big moments as well. Let's remember, back in the 2024-2025 season, he scored 6 goals in the Copa del Rey and finished as the top goal scorer. He scored a hat-trick against Valencia. He scored a decisive semifinal goal against Atletico Madrid. He equalized against Real Madrid in the final. He was also named MVP of the Copa final and scored a decisive Champions League brace against Dortmund. But this is the reason why PSG paying 50 million euros for Ferran makes a lot of sense. And it has been done multiple times before. We have seen Eden Hazard go to Real Madrid back in 2019 with 1 year left in his contract and they paid 100 million euros. We have seen Harry Kane go from Tottenham to Bayern in 2023 with 1 year left in his contract for around 100 million euros. Mason Mount went to Man United in 2023 for 55 million euros. Sterling went to Chelsea back in 2022 with 1 final year and they still paid 47.5 million euros. Even recently, Dembele from Barcelona to PSG back in 2023, under 1 year left in his contract, PSG still paid 50.4 million euros. So I don't view this price tag for Ferran unrealistic. It is something that for sure could happen. And the reason why I'm also pushing for a price tag like this is because I know this is for sure going to look very good on Barcelona's accounts, which would allow us to sign even further players. But let me know in the comment sections down below, how much do you think Ferran Torres is worth? What do you believe his fee should be and how much PSG should pay for him? I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.